Gannon here, back with another Star Trek Discovery review. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 6 of season 3, titled Scavengers. Now, it is currently 4 a.m., and if I look like garbage, that's because I've been eating like garbage. I swear, the whole time I was waiting for this episode to come out, I was so bored that I just kept on eating. Like, I ate like 12 peanut butter cookies and a whole bag of chips, and now I just feel awful about myself. But anyways, yeah, no. It's been made up for. It's definitely been made up for because luckily I got to watch a really good episode of Star Trek. Oh my god, have I had a lot of fun watching Star Trek recently. I am going through my rewatch of Deep Space Nine currently, and we've gotten to that part, you know, like midway through the series, season 4, where Worf joins the crew, intergalactic war, and all the dubious, scandalous shit just starts happening, and I'm just having so much fun. And then on top of that, we got a new episode of Discovery, and I gotta say, guys, I really like this episode a lot more than the last one. The last episode was just a bunch of Admiral Vance being kind of a pretentious asshole, and then they go on this boring side quest to a space seed factory where they lose Commander Nhan, even though she really hasn't done anything significant aboard Discovery in this season yet. But this episode was a nice change of pace. We got to see some cool references. It did feel slightly repetitive to the pacing of the first episode, though, because we're again dealing with the Emerald Chain and the Orion Syndicate. Basically, in this episode, 31st Century Burnham just says fuck it, and then disobeys a direct order from Saru to go and investigate Booker's disappearance, while pursuing the Black Box, a device that recorded the last moments of many ships during the burn. It's learned that the burn was not really simultaneous, but behaved more like a wave effect. Therefore, it theoretically could have an origin point that could be tracked, which is what Burnham plans to do with the box. She travels to this scrapyard planet under the authority of a powerful figure in the Orion Syndicate known as Osira. We didn't really get to see her in this episode, but I assume that she will probably play a bigger role in the future, as they kind of made an effort about, you know, explaining her character a little bit. Georgiou and Michael then infiltrate the planet under the pretense of trading dilithium, where they then aid Booker in staging a revolt, where they then successfully destroy the whole place, save Booker, and then get the Black Box. We learn that Georgiou's seizures and flashbacks kind of coincide with that weird conversation that took place between her and that really interesting character who wears the glasses that interrogated her. It looks to me that she was really like having flashbacks to a time when somebody very important to her was killed, but she admits to Michael in this episode that she really doesn't have any idea or grasp of what's going on, so perhaps she doesn't even know what's happening in those memories and that they're actually repressed memories. And I do feel like this is going to actually play a decent role in the story, and it's going to tie in with things later. Like, there's no way that they're gonna have Philippa have these weird seizures and make a whole big deal out of this, and also like give her these flashbacks to these memories, if they didn't play a role somehow, even in the current setting that they're in. So I feel like they have definitely some significance there. The Discovery gets a future refit in this episode, which is super cool. All the panels inside the Discovery were replaced with programmable matter. All the crew members got futuristic badges that are equipped with portable transporters, pads, and even tricorders. The Discovery's nacelles now float. This is like the biggest and coolest change to me personally. They now float. I assume that's also because of the programmable matter just kind of like, you know, keeping them in place, but the nacelles are now separated from the ship, and they have this really awesome, cool, futuristic look. Super badass and cool. A couple solid DS9 references past couple episodes. I didn't notice this when I did my review of the last episode, but apparently one of the ships that was in the, you know, the ring of Federation ships around headquarters was called the U.S.S Nog, which, if you ask me, if that's the best Alex Kurtzman could do for a fucking Aaron Eisenberg Nog tribute, then I scoff at that. I really need a Nog appearance in Lower Decks, like an animated appearance, something in Picard, anything that will actually show in the canon that Nog became the first Ferengi captain in Starfleet. Nog is one of my favorite characters. He's pretty much goated in my eyes. And I think just naming a ship after him that kind of sits in the background is super fucking weak for a reference to Nog. I really want to see something more concrete. I mean, if you ask me, I would really like them to actually animate Nog in Lower Decks and actually make him like a character that shows up in one episode. That would be super fucking cool. They also mentioned self-sealing stem bolts in this episode, which if you don't know what the fuck is up with self-sealing stem bolts, then you really cannot say that you've actually watched Deep Space Nine. Something that is really hitting me hard this episode is that Michael Burnham has changed a lot. And I don't know if I'm totally convinced that I like the current Michael Burnham. Like, she seriously does whatever the fuck she wants, doesn't even really think of the consequences, and the only thing that is on her mind is this obsession with finding out what caused the burn, because she says to Admiral Vance in this episode that she truly believes that the Federation will never find unification or peace again until they find out the origin of the burn, which may be true, but that also doesn't really make up for her behavior. Michael Burnham is a character that's used to making brash, hasty, and selfish decisions. That was like the whole thing in season 1. Totally disobeyed her captain, fucked the chain of command, let's go and start a Klingon intergalactic war where, you know, thousands of people die, all because I just gotta be selfish today. And that's kind of like totally Michael Burnham. The difference between that Michael Burnham and the one we're currently seeing is that she pretty much probably values her position in Starfleet, her position as a Starfleet officer, very little right now. Like, in the grand scheme of all that she's experienced, I can't imagine that she really values that position of like being a Starfleet commander, because now she was just a fucking science officer, and then Saru made her #1, and she like commanded the ship a little bit, and now here we go, she's already got that stripped away from her just like that. So it's almost like the title and position weren't important at all in the grand scheme of things, and it really doesn't seem like she cares all that much. Like, she's really willing to throw all that away just to basically do whatever she wants and behave like a courier and not a Starfleet officer. And obviously, guys, I'm a super Starfleet. I love Starfleet Michael Burnham, but I feel like I'm going to have to put up with 31st century crazy Michael Burnham for probably a little bit longer. You know, it is a little bit depressing. I miss cute, adorable Starfleet Michael, but just, you know, we're gonna have to put up with 31st century crazy Michael for a little bit longer. I hope season 4 she'll be back to like the old Michael that I used to know. We got to see a next generation type phaser in this episode, which was really cool. I also really enjoyed Admiral Vance's performance this episode. He seems a lot less douchey now and more like a cool, admirable admiral, leader of the Federation. The Federation headquarters also seem a fair bit cozier now that Discovery has been accepted a little by Admiral Vance. All in all, this episode did a lot more for me than last episode. I'm gonna give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. There were some decently funny parts in this episode, and even some wholesome interaction between Stamets and Adira, who seem to be getting along quite well together. Adira even was able to augment Stamets' like plug-in areas to make them like nice, foamy, and comfortable, and took out the inserts that were actually in his arm. And Adira still continues to speak to Gray, whose, you know, like soul and energy has somehow remained within the symbiote. I guess in Discovery, they're pretty much canon confirming that there's like fucking souls or unique energy to people in Star Trek, which is, you know, might possibly be a red flag for a lot of Star Trek fans, because Star Trek has always been a little bit vague, indiscreet, and a little bit nihilistic in that avenue. So them just kind of coming out and saying that, okay, it's possible for people to have like energy that's transferred and you, like, don't always die after death and stuff like that. So, a little bit interesting. Definitely not hating, but yeah, definitely interesting. This episode was also super dramatic too, so like there's that. We still have 10 more episodes left in the season. I'm still very much excited for every single episode that comes out. A little lack of clear direction right now at this moment. I assume that they're going to find out the origin of the burn within the next 3 episodes, and then from then on, in that point, we might have a better grasp on what the future of the season holds and also what the future of the series will look like. But anyways, guys, that was my review for Season 3, Episode 6, titled Scavengers of Star Trek Discovery. Thank you so much again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please slap a like on it. If you have anything you would like to share with me or talk to me about, please leave it down in the comments below. If you are enjoying the content that you see on the channel, I would be very flattered if you were to subscribe. And with that, guys, I'm going to have to see you in the next one. Live long and prosper.